In this video, I want to talk about creating separate views for the selected or any selected rebars. Now we know that these 3D modeling programs are all about creating a good 3D model and then importing those model viewports into the drawing, and then basically doing your dimensioning and your annotating and creating your material lists and all. Now it's very common in reinforced concrete, for example. So we have, let's say, a beam over here, and we have this is a bar, and it's going somewhere up till here, and then there's another bar after that, from here over here somewhere, and you can see they're kind of overlapping. But if you don't see that, it's very difficult to see that there are actually two bars over here, and that's the way you usually model. You don't model them like a little above or a little below, so it can get difficult to see that there are actually three bars, one from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. And obviously, if I do the annotation, I can do that, and you will see the three bars separately. But it is very common practice to show this beam like that, and then actually open up these three bars separately right below the beam, a little staggered from each other. So in one quick glance, you can see exactly what's happening. Now, to do that, there's a very nice command in COMOSYS, and all you do is basically you go and you select the rebars. So you zoom in, you press Control, and you select the second one, and then you zoom in and you press you select the third one as well. So now I've got the three bars selected, and as after selecting them, I go to this under the Tools menu, this little button over here called Reinforcement Detail. What it does is it will create a separate view from those selected rebars. And the moment I press it, immediately you see this separate view created on the side, and you can double click it and you can fit it, and you can give it a rotation if you want, if it's not aligned with your and you can fit it again to take it in the other direction. And then if you zoom in, and I can bring it right under this one over here, and now you can see that those three bars are shown here with a little stagger. So I mean, they're not shown in their exact modeling positions, because if they were shown in the exact modeling positions as they are over here, we would once again basically see one continuous line. But you see there's a little stagger, and the stagger will come back after a while as well. It can go one up, two up, and then back, so it won't just keep going up. And we have this option actually over here as well. In every view, what we can do is, so if I were to double click on this view and go to the detailing tab, you have this option of calculate rebar staggers. And if I were to turn it off, for example, and say apply, you will see that the rebar actually is now the rebars are brought back to their original modeling, the way they've been modeled in the 3D model. But if I were to double click on the view and say go to the detailing tab and say calculate the rebar stagger, then it gives it a rebar stagger, and this you can control the distance between each one of them by this parameter. This is in millimeters, and this one actually is a tolerance related parameter, which you can use most of the time leave as it is. And once you've done that, what you can do is you can go to your dimensioning command, say, and go in there and maybe give your splice dimension over here like that, and that'll be a very convenient way of now showing that you've got these three rebars actually in this position. And obviously you will have the numbers over here as well, but you don't want to stagger it over there, because you don't want the rebars coming out of there because what can happen is that they could come out of the formwork if they're staggered in the original model, and you don't want that. So you want to have them separately the way I've shown, and this is a very neat way of doing that. Now, in the previous example, the bars are actually in the same plane. So let me go back over there. So the bar was like this, and we opened it up in the same plane. But if we go to this example, which is from a slab, looking at the slab from the plan view, we've got these bars, and they look like straight bars, but actually they're going down from here. So if I were to go to the model, return to the model, we will see that I was looking at this slab, and these bars are coming in and they're turning down because of the embedment, and similarly this one as well. But in the drawing, we don't see them like that because we're looking at them from the plan view. So in these cases, sometimes, although they'll be drawn in the material lists as a proper U-shaped bar, but sometimes it is also common practice to open up this bar just like we open up these bars next to the beam. We want to now open up this bar, and we want to basically open it up in its own plane. And if you go back to the tools menu, and this was the command we used, if I press the shift key and open that, you can see that we have this option of use rebar coordinates. And if this one is selected, then it will open up the bar not in the plan view, but in the bar's own coordinate system, which is what we want. So if I were to select this bar and say give me the reinforcement detail, it will create this view over here. Once again, let me quickly change the direction of the view and then fit it, and then now I have it in exactly the way where I want it, and I can bring it over here and zoom into it, and now that bar, which was number 8, is shown separately over here as well, and now I can do any dimensioning of the bar if need be, but it's going to show up in the material case anyway, in the material list anyways. So this is a neat feature in which you can open up. Now this is the same feature which is also used in column drawings, for example. So when you have a long column going 2 or 3 stories, so while you have the side view of the column showing your stirrups and the longitudinal reinforcement at various splice points, but right next to it we show this longitudinal reinforcement separately as well, with all the splices in a staggered way, just like we've staggered them over here in the beam as well. So this now in the beam and column drawings, that stuff is done automatically. But if you were to create, if you were creating your own manual drawings, then you would find this reinforcement detail feature very handy to use.